Hello all, welcome to R&D Labs with me Rohan, and in your quest to learn Swift, we'll see how to add enums to your Swift project. Let's get started.
So before we begin, let's ask ourselves, what are enumerators or enums? They are a group of related items. For example, if you need to group the months of a year together, you create an enum. Okay, so you might be asking, is it really required? No, it's not required. But I'll give you one such case where if you want to add months of a year within a program, you might be inclined to add JAN or FEB or MAR for the month of the year. Okay, but later on in the program, you end up with typing the entire word, that is January or February or March. So there are inconsistencies within your program. Okay, and then you have to recollect, go back and check what you have written earlier. So enumerators will help you to organize your code for better understanding. Okay, so you had January, February, March within your enumerator, and then you later on call the enumerator for that particular month. Okay, so you don't have to remember what you have written in your program. So enumerators do help you in that way. And again, is it mandatory to add enumerators in your program? Absolutely not. But I will recommend you to add it so that it's easier for you to understand and follow your code. Okay, so for this tutorial, I have created a starter project in Swift using storyboards. And what we're going to do today is we'll create a basic enum and an enum with some value in it, and then assign a raw value to an enum. So there will be three types of enums that we'll be creating in the tutorial today. So let's first create a basic enum. So how do you create an enum? You specify uh, the, let's first comment what we are doing. So how do you declare an enum? You declare it with a keyword enum and then give a name to it. So in my case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the first quarter of the year. Okay, so I'll just specify enum first quarter. Okay, and then I'll give it Jan for January. Okay, I'll give Feb for February. So how do I add a second enum? So I'll say case Feb. Okay, and I'll add March as well. So let's say March. Okay, so I have created an enum already. Okay, and let's see how does it look like when I call it. Okay, so I'll say print. How do you call an enum? So you specify the name of the enum first and then dot the value. Okay, that's it. You have already written an enum, you have declared an enum, and you have called an enum over here. So let's run this and see. There you go. So it has shown Jan for January. Okay, so this is the first month, and if you just specify Feb again, it will show Feb. So this is how you call an enum. Now let's go a bit in depth on adding associated values to an enum. Now, what are associated values? If you want to add some extra information to the enum value, okay, you'd use associated value approach for enums. Okay, so in this case, what I'd do is we'd go to January and we will say birthdays, birthdays, and I want to add names of my employees. So it would be string. Okay, so that's it. You have declared an associated value to the month Jan. Now, how do you call this? Okay, so if I want to add birthdays for the month of Jan, I'll just open up the brackets and add my employee names, which are John, Joe, and David. So I've added the string value to it. Okay, so these are the names of the employees having birthdays in the month of Jan for the first quarter. You see how does this go? Now let's see how it shows up on my console. There you go. So January, birthdays, John, Joe, and David. Fair? Now that we have seen how to add those extra information, those extra bits and pieces to an enum, we'll now see how to assign values to an enum so that they have a meaning in your code. Okay, so for that we will add raw values to enums. How do we do it? Okay, for example, if you want the January month to be shown as, I'll just add few comments over here so that it's readable and helpful for you to understand. Okay, so if you say I want the January month to be shown as 1, okay, February month as 2, and March as 3, okay, in your code, and you don't want the text to be shown on your program, okay, you can use your text, but if you don't want the text and you want only numbers to be shown on your when you call the enum, so how do you do it? Okay, Swift has a way to do it, and that can be done using the raw value approach that I was speaking of. So if you will go back to the enum, we'll clear off the things that we have done on this enumerator. Okay, I'll comment this off as well. Okay, and for getting the value as 1, 2, 3, we will first set the enumerator as integer. Sorry. As integer, and then let's see how does it show up. Okay, so I will uncomment this, and I will still call January, and we will see what does it show up. Okay, still shows Jan, nothing has changed, you'll be asking me, because we haven't done much on the enumerator cases at all. Okay, so if you want to add the value to it, just say is equal to 1 over here, and Swift will assign 2 to February and 3 to March. Okay, so let's run this and see again. Still shows Jan. Strange, isn't it? Yes, because we haven't added the raw value identifier here. So let's call the raw value property, and it should show up 1, okay, which is the exact value of what we have mentioned here. Now let's call February and see what happens. It shows up 2, okay, though we haven't yet mentioned anything for the case of February and March. Swift will automatically assign the value continuing from the previous value. So if it is 1, it will assign 2 to it and 3 to this. Okay, and for example, you have added June to this, okay, and you have assigned August to this as a case. Okay, though it is not continuous, so you will have to explicitly add 6 to it to break the chain, and 8 to this. So if it's Jan, June and August, so you will have it to change over here as well to June, and we'll see what the raw value is. There it is. Easy, isn't it? So this is how you actually add an enum with some value to it so that it makes sense in your program. So in this tutorial, we have seen 3 types of enumerators. Okay, the first one that we had created was just a basic enumerator where we had declared an enum and added the 3 months into it. The second enumerator that we have created is with the associated value to it, where we give more information to the enum. And the third enumerator that we have created was with the raw value, where you specify a value to an enum. Okay, and in our case, we have specified the integer value to the month name. So this is how the enums are created in Swift.
So this is how you add enums to your Swift project. As we have seen, I've tried to explain all the possibilities, all the various ways in which you can add enums to your project. And if you have any doubts, please reach me out in the comment section. Please like and subscribe the channel, and see you until next time. Thank you.